I'm a techie kind of guy. I like gadgets. You might notice that when I teach or preach, I always use a tablet. And the reason I switched from a paper Bible to a tablet was number one, is easier, but number two, it's authentic. I hardly ever pick up a paper Bible anymore. I do all of my time with God using a tablet. And if that's going to be the case, I'm probably going to be using some apps. And today, in this video, I want to share with you my 5 favorite apps to use during my time with God. The first one is called YouVersion, or the Bible app. And the Bible app is actually created by a church and maintained by a very, very, very large church in the Midwest. And what they do is they lay it out there for free, and it has everything that you need in it. It has tons of translations. If you want King James, it's there. If you want the Message, it's there. Whatever translation, whether you've heard of any of them or not, they're there. All the translations are out there, including translations into almost every language on earth. So you can use it for yourself, you can use it for friends, you can use it for all these things. But in addition to just the Bible itself, they've got tons of reading plans, ways to help you reading the Bible. Let's say you want to read the Bible clear through in a year. They've got plans for that. Let's say you just want to read the New Testament through in a certain number of months. They've got plans that'll do that. You want to read the Gospels. You want to read the minor prophets through in a certain period of time. They've got plans that will do that. They've also got plans if you're having a certain crisis or serious issue in your life, or you're just dealing with something. They've got an awful lot of plans with devotional content written by some great Christian teachers that you can use for, say, 3 weeks to deal with some stress in your life. It's crazy all the plans they've got. So that's my number one recommendation for an app for you to use for your time with God. Now, the second thing, after you read your Bible, what you want to do is you want to pray. And as you're praying, I have an app that I use for that, of course. It's called PrayerMate. And PrayerMate is made by a guy in Great Britain, and it's really good. I looked for a long time for a really good prayer app because my prayer list gets kind of complicated. I have a number of people that I pray for. I have big topics, and a lot of times I'm praying for a person, like say my daughters. I'm praying for them a different thing each day because I've got 5 or 6 things I want to pray for each of my daughters. Certain things for Nikki, certain things for Sierra, certain things for Dominique, because they're at different life stages. I've got verses I pray over them. And what this enables me to do is I can set up a prayer list for Nikki. And on Nikki's prayer list, there are about 5 different cards, and the PrayerMate will actually rotate them. So I pray for a different thing each day for Nikki, and a different thing each day for Sierra, and for Dominique, and for Kim, and for lots of people in my life, and for our church, and different ministries in our church, and the people I know that are far away from God. And you see, it can get really complicated. And PrayerMate helps me keep it understandable and simple, and helps bring to my mind I get a different prayer list every day, because it gives me different topics for each of my main topics to pray for. Now, that may sound really complicated and scary to you. That's okay. It starts really simple and small. It can start with you having 3 people you're praying will find God, 2 things you're praying for yourself, 5 people you're praying in your life, and that's all it has. It'll even help you develop the list. It has tools for that. So it's a great thing. I highly encourage you to get PrayerMate. I have PrayerMate on both my phone and my tablet. My main list is on my tablet, and then I have a second list. I know this is something terrible, complicated. I have a second list on my phone for just the stuff that's really important that day. So don't let it scare you. It's really simple to start, but it can grow with you to wherever God leads you in your prayer life. Start out really easy, go to the complicated. Now, let's go back to Bible study for a second, because I use a different app to help me with that. Because I'm reading the Bible every day, and I'm also writing down what I believe God's wanting to teach me each day. I call that journaling. Everybody calls that journaling. And so what you're doing is you're writing it down. And for years I used paper. I had journals that I used, paper journals that I used, and they were cool, but eventually I wanted to have better access, and plus my handwriting's terrible, and I wanted to be able to access them all the time. So I came across an app called Evernote. Now, Evernote can go on your computer, your laptop, your phone, your tablet, all of those things. And it can help you organize all the things you do. And what I do is I type in what I learned from God each day into Evernote, put a date on it, and I keep it, and it's there. And then, this is really cool. Because what I've been doing recently is when I'm journaling and something really hits me and I go, I need to think about that throughout the day, I'll just copy and paste it, email it to myself, and put it on my phone prayer mate. Because my phone prayer mate is set to wake up every few hours all day long to remind me to pray for just a handful of things. And I can take my journal and I can remind myself throughout the day of the truths God told me that morning. That's my first 3 apps. The 4th app is Operation World. Operation World is a different kind of app. It helps me with my prayer life, but it's all about missions. It's all about what God is up to throughout the world. It's based on a book that they put out years ago and they still update it all the time. And Operation World starts alphabetically and goes throughout the world praying for every country on earth. And it tells you what's working in the gospel in countries, the challenges they face, the successes they're having, everything. Albania, China, Zimbabwe, every one of them gets time during the year, and you learn about the country, and some days you're praying and you're rejoicing because of the way the gospel and Christianity is just blossoming in a country, and some days it's kind of intense because you're learning about how tough it is to share the gospel in certain countries, and it sort of gets us out of our bubble of a little American Christianity or Western Christianity and lets us see what's happening throughout the world, and it's an amazing tool, and I highly recommend it. Oh, and one more thing about Operation World. The app's really cool. The website's even better. It's got videos. It's really cool. So even if you don't like the app, go to the website on a daily basis, and it'll rock your world. Now, the 5th tool that I want to recommend is going to surprise you. It's not what you're expecting at all, because the 5th tool I'm going to recommend for your time with God, the 5th app, is your calendar. See, one of the most important things you can do if you want to develop the habit of spending time with God on a daily basis is to schedule it every day. And the best way to schedule it is put it on your calendar. Write it down. Make it so that every day you have that time set aside. And that does a couple really good things for you. Number one, it's the reminder for you, okay, it's this time of day, I'm supposed to be going to where I go and spending time with God. But it also helps you say no to other things. Because when somebody calls you and says, hey, can you do this at such and such a time? You can say, well, I wouldn't mind, but I can't because I'm busy. I have it on my calendar. I'm spending time with God. You don't have to tell them that part if you don't want to. How about we do it 15 minutes later? How about we do it half an hour later, an hour later? Because I have on my calendar time with God right then. These are my favorite 5 tools when it comes to spending time with God. I hope at least 1 or 2 of them intrigue you enough to bring them into your lives. I think they can really help you as you develop the habit of spending time with God every day so that you can become the person He created you to be and do all the wonderful things He's designed and created you to do.